The first few slides I'm going to show you are of past work I've done. I'm choosing to show these particular projects just to display some of the variety in my work, but there are elements in each that directly relate to what we're doing for the tennis club. So this is a summer home I completed recently in the Thousand Islands. There was an existing house on the property that was taken down, and this was rebuilt. Some of the elements that relate to what we're doing are the dark windows, the use of stone and wood, and the general window style is similar to what we're using at the tennis club. Also, this has a standing seam metal roof, which is again what we're proposing for the tennis club. This is a home in Toronto that I completed, there was an existing small bungalow on the property which was taken down, and then this was rebuilt. Obviously more on the modern side, but again, the use of stone, natural wood, the large expanses of glass on the ground floor are similar to what we're proposing at the back of the tennis club. This stained wood is a cedar, and when I get to the front elevation, I'll show you underneath the front canopy, we're proposing something like this to sort of add warmth and tie into some of the other elements of the front elevation. Some of you might be familiar with this building. It's called the Ivy League Club in the Thousand Islands. It's a marina and restaurant, and they have some rental cottages, that type of thing. This started out as a white clapboard box, and then we added on a series of additions. So this front area is the kitchen addition. This here, you can see the corner of the original, so the box, I guess, if you will. This is a two-story front entry addition we added, and then a washroom addition over to the other side. And this, again, is used of stone and wood. The stone here was quarried actually out of the site when we excavated, and then it was sent away and cut to size and then brought back to the site and used in the front elevation. And again, dark windows here too. This is a house in Leaside in Toronto. Leaside's it was a suburb of Toronto built in the 50s, I guess, and it's a very homogeneous neighborhood. Almost all the lots are about 30 to 35 feet wide, and most of the houses were in the sort of 2,000 square foot range. It's an area where a lot of people are buying, tearing down, and rebuilding on larger footprints. I show you this because based on the zoning in the area, you have to provide a garage, and due to the small, narrow lots, it's sometimes challenging to actually come up with something interesting and creative, given the parameters. Everyone wants to max out, so you end up typically with a sort of a boxy shape. On this job, what I did was try to create some interest in the roof line and the dormers, a similar flat roof front porch. But generally, I like to use traditional forms, but I guess in a clean, more modern way. Traditional materials again, and I think this relates to the clubhouse and the fact that even though we have a large lot, there are a lot of parameters which governed the basically shape of the project. So we didn't, in the end, we did based on where the courts are and the street setback, and maximizing the space for the south lawn and play area. We ended up with basically a rectangle which we wanted to max out the size of. So we could have ended up with, essentially it's a fairly boxy shape, but we added certain projections and things like that just to add some interest, even though we were maximizing the site, and we were limited in terms of how much sort of projections and things like that we could do. So this is the proposed front elevation. I'll give you an overall sort of just a rundown of why we came up with this shape. As I mentioned, we wanted to maximize the south lawn, which is back here. So we put the building right up against what is now Court 7, and we've integrated the hitting wall in that end part of the building. But we also didn't want the building to feel jammed up against that court, so we set back the second floor about 8 feet, which provides the balcony around the top. And the actual footprint of the ground floor is slightly larger. It's about 2,150 square feet, and the second floor is about 1,850. This is the rear elevation. So we're providing a lot more glass here. This whole area would be the lounge and would be more open to the deck area. This lower element would be somewhat of a bench, I would say, just a low element that people could sit on. It will also prevent balls, if you're playing on the court right there, prevent balls from rolling onto the deck, that type of thing. Provide viewing opportunities during matches, things like that. As Paula mentioned before, we have the door to the accessible washroom right there. That would be the main door through to the lounge and entry. Then upstairs we have decks that wraps around the three sides, so all the courts would be visible from up there. And we have the stairs going up. This is the north elevation, and so that whole wall would be flush with the chain link fence and provide a hitting wall. It's about 30 feet long, so two people could easily practice there at the same time. And again, the deck above. This is a south elevation which looks onto the grassy area, the lawn area, and there'd be a 15-foot deck outside in front of those doors, and again, glass into the lounge area. So this is a 3D version of the front entry to give you a better perspective of it all. And that's looking from, I guess, court, well, roughly where the clubhouse is now. And one aspect, so these, the columns for the upper deck are projected out farther than the deck. We didn't want to have, the deck comes out about 12 feet. We didn't want the upper deck to be that deep so it wouldn't cut off light from below. So we made the upper deck 8 feet and then kept the columns out where the bench is so that they wouldn't interfere with the deck and movement below. And that's looking from the other side to the deck area. And gives you a view of that bench along the edge too.